Hello lovely people, I seem to have a parting like a footballer. How are we all? Hello lovelies, it's Monday, it's the 27th. Yeah, the weekend was okay. Yesterday I was having a bit of a falling out with my spinning. It wasn't going well. I was trying to do some stuff and it kept breaking, and I think I've got better at drafting, so it's all very fine, but I'm not putting enough twist into it for the fineness of it to make it usable yarn. It just kept breaking. So I decided to ply what I had, and there was a bit of breakage in that, but also with it being alpaca and having a little bit of fluff about it, if it broke, it was sometimes very difficult to find the end, and I lost patience and cut some of it off, which is why we have a mountain of unhappiness. But, well, mountains, you know, a hillock of unhappiness. I felt like a complete hillock when I did it. So anyway, I wound up I plied a bobbin. I've actually plied up this stuff the Rolags that I spun last week that I'd made on the blending board. So that's good. You can see those colours coming through. Bit of green in there. Not sure that's really showing. And I got more out of this than I was expecting, because at that point I thought the whole thing was going to turn into a complete disaster. But we've got a bit, so I'm just winding it onto a bobbin. I'm just between work commitments, so I thought I'd wind this onto not the bobbin, the niddy noddy, give it a chance to soak, and then I can get that drying. And start again with trying to spin my alpaca single. Part of me was thinking there's a lot of other stuff I could spin. Maybe I need to give alpaca a rest. But there are two factors at play that are preventing me from doing that. One is I'm not going to let it beat me. And the other is it's still taking up a lot of room in a big box. And although I don't want to spend every last bit of fluff of the alpaca, I do want to get it into a smaller box so that I can tuck it away more neatly. So that's my spinning adventures. I used to train people. Most jobs I've had, I've ended up training others. And you'd always see that spot where people were learning and it's like, terrified I'll never get it. Oh, I've got it. This is the learning curve I'm doing here. Oh, I've made a mistake. And then there's that kind of slow incline. I'm kind of there. And I always tell people the learning curve isn't a straight curve. It has a big bump in it. And I've just hit the big bump, which is frustrating. But it's by our mistakes that we learn. Even when we don't want to. Lovelies. A friend of mine is having a bit of a de-stash and it seemed rude not to. This is fibre called Halloween Queen by Made in England, which is a name that I'm not familiar with, but it's very pretty. It's 60% merino, 40% bamboo. Now I know I've got some plant-based fibre in the stash, in the fibre stash, but I've not spun with any yet to my knowledge, so it'd be interesting to see how this spins up. but it is very pretty. Oh, what loveliness I have. So thank you to my friend who was destashing. It was an absolute pleasure doing business with you. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Bit of footage here of this morning's dog walk. Because himself's the way, I'm doing all the dog walks this week. I shall be fit as a flea by the end of it. Or exhausted. Possibly the latter. But hey-ho. Cheers all. Well, it's been a bit of a Wednesday. Bit of a rush today. Had a visit booked this morning. And normally when I visit a family, it's an average of an hour and a half. This took over 2 hours, which occasionally happens, but I had something booked for home time, or for when I got home. So that was a bit of a rush. And then I took part in helping someone doing a Master of Science in their research because it involved knitting. And they're researching into knitting or crafting and wellness. And I did a survey, I think it must have been on Ravelry some months ago. And they had initially wanted to have people in, you know, going to the university to do tests and all of that, but obviously COVID is putting the tin hat on that, so it's an online thing. So I'd agreed to do it, and yeah, it didn't happen. Well, it did happen, but it was late. So as part of it, you just have to knit a little piece. They tell you how many stitches they want, and you just knit for a period of time, and then they test you on like a computer game before and afterwards. So it was a bit weird watching, knowing that the researcher at the other end was also knitting, but it was like a silent knit night. It was a bit strange. Yes, so it was all very, very odd. And then a Zoom call this afternoon, so it's been a busy day. I've got my first ceremony in a while, you know, it has been a while, tomorrow, so I'm just about to check that. Now that I have bound off a little piece that I made during the exercise, which I'm actually going to use as a swatch. It's a little small, but we'll make it work. So yes, what a fun time we're all having. Hello lovelies, it's Thursday and I've just done my first ceremony for a week or two. Feeling very rusty. Oh, what is it we do here again? But all good fun. And it was being webcast, as is often the case at the moment because people are unable to attend. The ceremonies are being webcast. What I didn't realise is that my mate, the funeral arranger, watched them when they're webcast. She always does, to make sure everything's okay, so that when she's talking with the family she can sort of talk with knowledge. So I had a message to call her afterwards about a ceremony that's coming up. She, lovely ceremony. I'm like, you see it? Oh goodness. Beautiful sunny day here, due to carry on for a couple of days, so I think we'll be in for a nice weekend, at least Saturday. Not that I'm sure we've got anything planned. Himself comes back on Saturday. Yes, he's the boys. I know the younger one has been knocked out of the tournament, and I think that the older one has now as well. Oh, lost on the last hole. Putts just didn't drop for him. Oh, he'll be disappointed with that. But it looks like he'll be back in the States soon. He has a place at college in Florida. And we're not going to worry about COVID numbers in any of the states, and certainly not Florida. But that's where it's headed. That's where it's headed. Yeah, so that's Thursday, sunny day. I've got meditation later. With a bit of luck, I'll stay awake. I felt exhausted when I came home from a ceremony. I had to lay down on the sofa for 10 minutes. I think I'm getting a bit pathetic, but never mind. So yes, that's Thursday. Drawing towards the end of another week, so a little bit more work to do now, and then that'll be it for the day. Cheers. Well, lovelies, I told you earlier in the week of my spinning woes. This is the yarn that I plied. It's okay. It's fine. It's as consistent as any of my yarn. It's not focused, but that may be an advantage. And you can see it's got some of the colours that I used on the blending board. So I've got one strand of yarn, which is predominantly the Corriedale, but I did have a bit of Polworth still on the bobbin, and I've gone very dark, and 2 strands of alpaca, 2 very fine strands of alpaca, which means the wraps per inch of this has come out at about 18. Now the previous skein I put together, the wraps per inch were 13, which is a kind of sport weight. So this is pretty much, I mean, it is inconsistent, and that may be to my advantage, but it's coming out more of a fingering weight, which is a bit disappointing in one sense, but it's a useful exercise. So it's a pretty yarn. I shall use it for something. I may even use it in the overall alpaca project and hold it with something else just to bulk it out a little. But here we are. Hey ho, what fun. Good morning, lovelies. It's Friday morning. Just show you the wound up skein of the yarn from yesterday. And it's approximately 250 meters and 82 grams, so it is quite fine, but we'll make it work. We always make things work. Now, as I'm recording this, it's 9:15, and according to my to-do list, I have about 16 hours worth of work to do today, so I'd best crack on, I think. Hello, lovelies. Well, that's been an interesting day. Took a funeral this afternoon, and this particular family, they wanted the curtains closed at committal, and at a lot of places at the moment they're insisting on the curtains closed so that people don't touch the coffin as they leave the ceremony, because of protecting the staff who are then looking after the coffin the other side of the screen, as it were. So this particular family, they did want the curtains closed, all fine. Guess which point in the ceremony I realised the button had moved, and I had no idea where it was. So I've got everyone to stand, and you know, no one told me, and it's not a question you'd think to ask, you know. You don't go in every time and say, is everything still where it was? So you have a console, sort of that sort of size, which displays the music, and the button was behind that, which is a bit of a stupid place because you feel like you have to go sort of like to get it, which, you know, was not ideal. So it's now been moved somewhere much more discreet, but I had no idea where. And where they've taken the old button out, they've still got a white sort of plate, you know, sort of almost like a light switch plate there where the button used to be. So I saw the white thing, and I didn't, so you don't think to have to ask, you know, anything changed? So I asked everyone to stand. I'm saying the words of committal. I'm thinking, where is that then? And in the end, I had to sit everyone down again. And I said, you know, your dad had a sense of humour. I think he'd have liked this. I had to explain that the button had moved, and I apologised, but I couldn't close the curtains. Oh, luckily, sense of humour, family, they found it hysterical. It was one of those things that when we were having the conversation about it, when I spoke with them, do you want the curtains to close, do you want them left open? it was really 50-50 either way. So not the major emotional crisis that it could be in other circumstances, and I am very grateful for that. Oh dear me. Hey ho. Right, it is, what time is it now? It's about 5:25. According to my screen, I still have 4 hours worth of work to do. It's not all going to get done this evening. So I'll be doing some more tomorrow, but I'm going to post this vlog, whatever it's called, and have a cup of tea. Oh, this is, I don't think you can read that, it's my, there we go, it's my Gigi Made It cup of tea. Hopefully you can read that. It says, me, should I buy this yarn? Brain, no. Wallet, no. Stash, hell no. Me, what other colours do you have? You can see why I liked it. Yeah, so that was Friday, that was the week. Not terribly exciting, but just plodding along. Now I'm sure that most of you are watching Barbara's daily vlog. If you're looking for a daily vlog fix, Barbara of the Flame of Fibre podcast, she's had a fantastic haircut and she's still vlogging. She's a better woman than I. Yeah, so she's putting up a daily post if that's of interest, and I'm sure most of you are watching her already. But that is the week, so I will see you again next week. Nothing specific planned. I may reconfigure some of the workings of this room because it's just getting more and more chaotic, which I don't think is doing me any good. So I might have a bit of a go. It really depends how the work goes. Himself comes back tomorrow. Both of the boys have been knocked out of the golf tournament. The younger one was knocked out earlier in the week. The elder one, I think I said to you yesterday, he went out. But they've had a good time, I think. They've certainly had nice weather. Not that that's the key thing with playing golf, but it must help. So yeah, they're probably back home now, and himself comes back tomorrow. And that's the weekend. It's been very, very warm. But it is July. If it's going to be warm at any time, it should be warm today. So take care, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Love it when you say hi. Don't feel obliged, but I do love it when you say hi and comment. Good to hear from you. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all keeping safe. This virus is going to be around for a long, long time, I fear. And just been watching the briefing from the Prime Minister that some of the restrictions that were hoping to be lifted from tomorrow, the 1st of August, now aren't going to be lifted. They're going to increase the number of places where masks are needed. Now that's going to include places of worship. And I don't know if crematoria are classed as places of worship. And if they are, am I meant to wear a mask when I'm delivering a ceremony? Who knows? We will find out in due course, I'm sure. Have a good weekend, my lovelies. Have a good week. I'll see you again next week, and please do take care, keep safe and keep well. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.